What's up, fam? Welcome back to another how-to MIDI with your Moog Subharmonicon. And since the last video, I've discovered a few different little tricks. The first being turning off the sequencer to the oscillators. This frees up these sequencers to be used as modulation sources, which I've done here. Sequencer 1 is patched out to the sub pulse width modulation of oscillator 1 and oscillator 2. And sequencer 2 is routed to the cutoff, as well as the sequencer 1 is routed to the rhythm 4, which we'll get into a little bit later. But with leaving the rhythm generators turned off, this becomes basically a programmable synthesizer with a 6-note programmable synthesizer. So that is one of the best ways for me to integrate this into the system, and just using the sequencer 1 and 2 as modulation sources instead of the pitches. So this is a little example of that. Just bring in the Subharmonicon. Notes being sequenced with the Digitone here. You can take a look at all these parameter changes that I have. And let's turn on the drums to this, and I'll turn on some of these rhythm generators, which is going to turn the sequencers, which again, sequencer 1 is routed to the pulse width modulation of VCO1 and VCO2 sub oscillators respectively. Sequencer 2 is routed to the filter cutoff. Sequencer 1 is also routed to rhythm 4, which I'll turn on and off. One thing to note when using these sequencers as modulation sources and not pitch sources, if you do a long press on this Quantize button, the little LED starts flashing. That puts it into a non-quantized mode, which gives you a lot smoother of a modulation change. So unless you want like a stair-stacked kind of a sound for maybe a sample and hold kind of vibe, you're going to want to long press this Quantize button. Other than that, that was one of the things that really unlocked this machine for me. I'd seen a ton of videos on that, but nobody really talks about just turning the sequencer off and using the modulation sources, turning the sequencer off of the VCOs, rather, and using these two sequencers as modulation sources. So, there you go. Enjoy.